Hello guys, how are we all doing? Welcome back to Championship predictions for the upcoming weekend. Championship predictions week 5 before the international break. Before we get into this video guys, do make sure you're commenting your predictions down below and make sure you hit that like button. We'll go for 750 likes on this video. We could definitely do that with your brilliant support, and do make sure if you're an EFL Championship or Premier League or football fan to hit the subscribe button. We really are trying to hit 37,000 subscribers before the international break, so please do subscribe to keep up to date with this channel. It's free to do and it's worthwhile. I'm joined by Sophie. How you doing?
Yeah, very good as always. How are you?
Yeah, once again, you beat me in predictions last week, 8-7, which means the overall score is 24-20, so you have got a little bit of a gap, but I'm hoping to shut it down this weekend. Let's get into the predictions, Sophie. Let's start at St Andrews for Birmingham City versus Millwall, two of the more passionate fan bases in the Championship, and this one became a little bit more interesting in my opinion based on what we've seen in the last couple results. I was really confident on Birmingham City. Then Millwall got back to winning ways against Stoke, which is good. And then Birmingham went out the cup to Cardiff. But I don't know how much I'm going to read into that because the Championship is so much more important than the Carabao Cup. And as for the Championship, Birmingham are still undefeated. I'm going to go for Birmingham. I was feeling super confident before. I don't want to underestimate Millwall because they can be good and they've got some decent players going forwards. But this start of the season for Birmingham City has been brilliant. And I think they could be going into the international break, possibly in that top 2. I'm going to go for the Blues, 2-1.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if that was the outcome, to be honest. However, I am going to back a draw. I feel like it's going to be quite a tight game. If I was to lean towards any side, I'd probably say 2-1, same as you, towards Blues. But I can just see a draw playing out, so I'm going to back a 1-1.
A 1-1 draw, sitting on the fence to kick things off. Well, let's go up to the Stadium of Light, Sophie, as Sunderland take on Southampton. What a journey this is, by the way, for the Southampton fans. A long way up. I think I remember, like, this is a few years ago in the Premier League, Sunderland went away to Southampton and they lost 8-0. I'm pretty sure the fans were reimbursed their money. Imagine doing that journey.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to go back.
Southampton should be favourites for this. I haven't looked at the odds, but I'd imagine they should be. They've had a good start to the season. Teller's gone. That's a big loss.
Miss.
It is a big loss. As for Sunderland, I actually thought they were quite good against Coventry. We both backed Cov to beat them, but let's give Sunderland some props. They were all right defensively. They kept things tight, and at the end, they looked dangerous when they got forward. So I think Sunderland might start getting more results as the season goes on. They've had a bit of a slow start. This is going to be difficult. Southampton look good, but you just think the Stadium of Light, all those fans there, maybe Sunderland can get something. 1-1.
This is tight because I agree Sunderland put in a good performance against us. They've not got off to the best start, but not the worst start either. And Southampton have got off to a pretty good start. As we've just mentioned, they're without Teller now, which I do think could be a big miss because he could just pop up with a goal out of nowhere. But they're still a good team without him, and I can see them getting it over the line, but a low scoring one for me. 1-0 to the Saints.
1-0 to the Saints, yeah. I think that one will be close. Do get your predictions down below. Let's move on to South Wales, Sophie, as Swansea City host Bristol City. By the way, these 3 games are all at 12:30. It's unusual having so many games at lunchtime. But this is an interesting one. Swansea City still without a win in the Championship. They've just gone out the Carabao Cup to AFC Bournemouth. I think there's signs of encouragement for Swansea. I think they will get their first win at some point. Obviously, Joel Perreault's a big loss, but they've brought in Jerry Yates and he's been getting a couple of goals. Michael Duff, like I say, I think he is a decent manager, so if they give him time, things might start to click. I don't think it'll be easy, though. Bristol City have looked pretty good, and they got a decent draw at Hull City last time, 1-1. I'm going to sit on the fence for this one. As I say, they both went out in the Carabao Cup. Bristol City went out to Norwich. Back to the Championship action. 1-1 draw for me. I think this is quite a difficult one to call.
I agree. It is a difficult one to call. It could go either way. Could be a draw. But I'm going to back the home side. I feel like, again, it's going to be another low-scoring one. I don't think it's going to be the prettiest of wins, but I can see them getting it over the line. So Swansea 1-0.
Swansea 1-0. Right, Sophie, to the best place of them all, the CBS, as Coventry City take on Watford. Now, this one is interesting. In our 2 games against Watford last season, I thought we were the better team in both. We beat them away 1-0. We drew at home to them 2-2. I felt like we could have won that game. Watford got off to such a good start to the season when they smashed QPR 4-0.
Yeah.
It's kind of trickled downhill since then, and they're now still only on 1 win. They'll be desperate to come here and win. They'll feel like they should have got something against Blackburn. That was a bit of a smash and grab job from the stats by the looks of it. Coventry City, meanwhile, I've backed them to win on the last 2 occasions, and we've drawn against Swansea and we've drawn against Sunderland. I do think Coventry could win this, but I don't want to keep going for Coventry to win. I've got to be fair. And to be honest, these are 2 teams with quite low expected goals against. So I do think defences could come out on top here. I don't want to say this, Sophie, but I'm going to go for another 0-0 draw at the CBS. Goalless.
I don't think I could take another 0-0, to be honest. I really want to back Coventry to win, but I agree. I think the last couple of times we've backed them to win, we've got a draw. So I'm hoping this time if I back a draw, we'll get a win. I'm not underestimating Watford at all because they have got some good players. Overall, they've got a good squad and they are, for me, underperforming. So I would like to win, obviously, but I'm going to back a 1-1 draw as well.
A 1-1 draw, okay. We're both going for a draw. Do get your predictions down below for Coventry City versus Watford. Sophie, on to Portman Road, Ipswich Town versus Cardiff City. Ipswich involved in an absolutely bonkers game with Leeds United last time.
Yeah.
It was the end of their unbeaten run. It was the end of their winning run. But they did get back to winning ways in the Carabao Cup against Reading in a penalty shootout. I still think Ipswich could take some positives from the Leeds game. They are scoring goals.
Yeah.
And I don't think goal scoring is going to be a problem here. Although, I want to say Cardiff City have impressed me. This is really difficult. If it was someone else, I feel like I'd want to give Cardiff a result because they've proved me wrong on quite a few occasions. They've just beaten Birmingham in the Carabao Cup. You know, like I say, it's a decent result. They got their first win against Sheffield Wednesday last week. And even, you know, the performances at Leicester and Leeds, Cardiff were all right.
Yeah,
so I don't think it's a walk in the park. But I do just fancy Ipswich, and they're at home. So 2-1 to the Tractor Boys.
Yeah, I'm going the same. I actually feel quite harsh not giving Cardiff anything here, and I wouldn't be surprised if it was Desmond, to be honest. I can see there being goals in this one. As you said, with Ipswich, they know how to score goals, but against Leeds, they conceded a few as well. I do think it's slightly easier opposition against Cardiff, which sounds a little bit harsh, but I can see them getting back to winning ways. So 2-1.
2-1. Okay, we're agreeing on that one. Right, let's go to Ellen Road, Sophie. The battle of 2 of the biggest clubs in Yorkshire, Leeds United and Sheffield Wednesday. I am excited for this one. Yeah. These 2 reuniting. They haven't played each other since they were both last in the Championship. We're going back about 4 years or so since then. Really interesting matchup. 2 massive clubs, you know, like I say, 2 massive grounds. 2 clubs that are ripping each other off loads of money with the away prices this season. Tap on the wrist to both of you. I'm going to go for Leeds United here. I've got to say something quickly actually about Sheffield Wednesday, Soph.
Right.
Now, when we did our early Championship predictions at the very start of the summer, you were the first person to come out and say Sheffield Wednesday are going to struggle this season, and you got loads of grief.
Where are you
then
now?
Darren Moore went, and that's probably helped your cause.
Yeah,
it has all unravelled, and I don't want to write them off too soon because I want Sheffield Wednesday to stay up. I like Sheffield Wednesday. They're a good club. It's good to have them back. But it's not a great start. And you do worry a little bit.
Yeah.
Going away to Leeds as well. Leeds, are they back?
They could be because they've got a couple of key players back that obviously weren't training. So with those players, they could well be back.
Joel Perreault, Nonto. They're just got so much quality going forwards. I think Leeds United win this game 2-0.
Ooh, okay. I feel like Sheffield Wednesday will get a goal here, as we saw against Ipswich. Leeds can concede goals. However, going back to what you said about me calling them to go down, it's not like I want them to go down. I can just see it happening. They didn't seem to add much quality, and then you got rid of your manager and terrible timing. So I see them being kind of in the game in the first half, and then Leeds showing their quality second half. So for me, Leeds win 3-1.
3-1 Leeds, interesting. Both going for a win by 2 goals.
Yeah.
Let's go to the King Power Soph. Leicester City, the only team to have won 4 out of 4. They take on Hull City. this is. I just feel like I know how it's going to go, just because every Leicester game seems to be the same. Like it's close, but Leicester pinch it late on and they win by 1 goal. Hull City not to be underestimated. I think they've been all right. Some of their performances have been good. They'd be a little bit disappointed not to get the 3 points against Bristol City on the Friday night last week. I think you've got to go for Leicester, haven't you? You can't go against them at the moment. I don't think it's impossible Hull City make this difficult, and if they get a draw, that would be amazing. But you've got to go for the favourites here. I'm going to go Leicester City to grind out another 2-1 win.
Yeah, what I will say is Hull had a very, very good summer transfer window, and I feel like when it clicks, they're going to be a really, really good team. However, you're coming up against Leicester at the moment, and they're just, even if they're not putting in a good performance, they're coming away with the 3 points. So it seems daft not to back them to win. And I'm going to go with the trusty 2-1.
Trusty 2-1. Is that the new thing? The new one, yeah. Leicester City to win 2-1 every game. Right, let's go up to the Riverside, Sophie, as Middlesbrough take on Queen's Park Rangers. Now, this is obviously Michael Carrick versus Gareth Ainsworth. I like both of these managers, but they're both so different, if that makes sense. Yeah. Both not had a great start to the season. Maybe it was more expected for QPR to struggle, but they've been all right. They've picked up a couple of points and they've not disgraced themselves, other than the Watford game on the opening day. As for Middlesbrough, still yet to pick up a win. Not great at West Brom last time out, but good result against Bolton in the Carabao Cup. They'll really want that to be something that can kickstart them getting wins in the Championship. And ultimately, I do think Middlesbrough will get going at some point. I'm not going to go for it just yet, though. I think QPR could be a frustrating team for Middlesbrough to play here. So I'm going to go 1-1.
Yeah, I'm actually going to go 0-0. I can see this playing out as a draw. I can see why you'd say goals, but I just feel like it's going to be a really frustrating one for both teams. Not a terrible result for QPR, considering where Middlesbrough were last season, but totally different team this season, as we're seeing. And I agree. I feel like they are going to click at some point. I don't seem bad enough to be going down, but right now, poor form, so 0-0.
0-0. Right, Sophie, down to the southwest as Plymouth Argyle take on Blackburn Rovers. Now, I'm really glad we're doing this prediction. We're recording it on the Thursday because Blackburn, we need to mention what an incredible win against Harrogate. Yes, Harrogate are from League 2, but 8-0 is amazing. Yeah. And you put it with the 1-0 win away at Watford. It's been a really good last few days for Blackburn Rovers. This is not going to be easy. I think Plymouth Argyle, I've personally backed them to stay up, and I think they will get most of their points at home park. They've lost their last couple games. They did put in a good performance against Crystal Palace in the Carabao Cup as well.
Went 2-0 up, didn't they?
They did.
Lost 4-2, but still.
Yeah, I was tempted to go for a draw, but I just feel like I haven't backed Blackburn enough lately. Yeah. Sorry, Plymouth. Like I say, I think you're going to stay up. I really could actually see Plymouth win this as well, but I've got to go for Rovers. I haven't backed them enough lately, and they've been really good. So let's go Plymouth 0, Blackburn 1.
Okay, I'm going to say goals for both teams, and I completely echo what you're saying. I've not backed Blackburn enough. I've kind of underestimated them, and as much as it was in the cup, 8-0 cannot be sniffed at all. So confidence is going to be so high going into this one. Plymouth, they put in a good performance against Crystal Palace. That should give them some confidence going toe-to-toe with a Premier League team. But yeah, I'm going to have to back Rovers as well. So I'm going to say 2-1. 2-1. Okay, interesting. Right, Sophie, up to the New York Stadium as Rotherham United take on Norwich City. Now, both teams in terms of confidence are at opposite ends of the spectrum. Yeah. Norwich City are flying. 4-0 against Huddersfield. They've just beaten Bristol City in the Carabao Cup. They're fighting on every front. Yeah. Meanwhile, Rotherham, a 6-1 defeat to Stoke City in the Carabao Cup. So that is dreadful. I really am tempted to go in hard for Norwich, like another 4-0. But the odds on that won't be great. I'm going to back Norwich. I wouldn't go... I think they could win 4-0. I'm going to go 3-1. I reckon Rotherham might get a goal, but Norwich just looks so good at the moment. And back to the old Norwich, the Norwich that know how to win games in the Championship. Yeah, with Rotherham being the home side, I can see them sitting back quite a lot, making it hard for Norwich to break them down. I think they're going to go in for this aiming for a draw, to be honest, and try and just grind out something, get something from this game. But I don't see it happening. Norwich looking very, very good at the moment. As we said, they're flying. So I can see Rotherham holding them off for a while, but Norwich are going to get a couple goals. later on, I think. So 2-0.
2-0. Okay, 2 games left, Soph. Let's go to Stoke City as they take on Preston North End. Stoke are confusing me at the moment because they've been pretty good at home and maybe not so good away from home. They are back at home now, and these sort of contrasts in performance, I don't know where to land on Stoke City. Meanwhile, Preston, they've actually been quite consistent. No defeats yet.
Yeah, and they're going under the radar a little bit. No one's talking about how they're doing an all right job.
Yeah, I know it's still early days, but let's say they just carry on this good run until 10 games, until 12 games, and they're still in that top 6. Then giving themselves a really good chance of actually finishing in there this season. And not many people saw it coming. I think this will be close. But Preston have won 3 in a row in the Championship. I'm going to go for 4. I think they've just got that about them to snatch this. Like they could do it in like the last 5 minutes or something.
Yeah.
Stoke City 0, Preston 1.
Yeah, I feel like if Preston were at home, I'd probably lean towards them. And even being away, I wouldn't be surprised if they won this one. But as you said, Stoke are playing better at home, so I can see them coming away with a point. So for me, it ends 1-1.
1-1, sitting on the fence. Right. The last game, Soph, is at the Hawthorns. It's West Bromwich Albion versus Huddersfield Town. Got to say, West Brom have been good. They've been really good.
They've been good.
A few people had reservations about West Bromwich Albion coming into the season based on the off-the-pitch issues and the lack of transfer activity, but we all said they've got a good manager in Carlos Corberán, and they've been picking up some good results. They've got good players and they've got a good fan base behind them. So I think West Brom get another win here because they're taking on a Huddersfield Town team that
struggling.
I like Neil Warnock.
I do.
I think he was brilliant coming in. He's a fireman. He'll put out the fire. He'll keep you up. I just don't think it's a long-term solution for Huddersfield. They probably want a younger manager, a more charismatic one that's got an idea for a long-term solution. I think West Brom win this game comfortably, 2-0.
Yeah, I agree. I can see it being quite a comfortable one purely because Huddersfield aren't looking very good at all. So West Brom win this comfortably, 3-0.
3-0.
Yeah.
Wow, you're going in hard. Right, well that wraps up our Championship predictions, guys. Do make sure, of course, to get your predictions down below. If you've enjoyed this video, please do make sure, as I say, to hit that like button. 750 likes would be amazing. And if you haven't subscribed, do make sure to do so as we're pushing to 37,000 subscribers. Thank you for joining me, Sophie.
Thank you.
I'll see you all in the next one. Peace out.